Ben was born 50 years after Bob Jones. He won Jones's tournament, the Masters, 50 years after the inaugural event in 1934. Jones was the perfect gentleman, Crenshaw known as Gentle Ben, yet both men worked hard to control fierce tempers. As young, successful athletes, both men stood up to the best that life has to offer with incredible grace. If you told Crenshaw he could win but one major, it would be here, at the course that Jones built.
1984 Masters, kite standing back in the fairway on 10. You're at the front edge of the green. You've got 60 feet, extremely three-puttable, I guess, for anybody but you. When you knocked that putt in, did you feel like that's the omen? Was there any sense of that at the time?
Yes, I was playing well, and I had a nice emotional approach that week. I was playing golf, and I was pretty free from worry, and little mistakes didn't bother me like they usually do. I mean, I do have that in common with Bobby Jones. Our tempers do. It boils over for me, and it never did after a point with him. But
so where does the Gentle Ben come from?
well, that's a bit of dichotomy. But I did. I was. You have to win any tournaments these days. You have to do things out of the ordinary to try to get yourself above this competition today. But on a major championship, you do things out of the ordinary, and the ball has to run for you. There's no question. You have to obviously play well. You have to put yourself in position, and you have to do the things that you normally do. But you really don't hole a bunker shot out of number 9 on the Friday round, and you don't make that putt at number 10, and you don't usually two-putt from the back of the green on 14, and the second putt was about 18 feet, and still was the scariest putt I've ever looked at. But I made it. But fate has a great hand in the playing of championships. Sometimes you're on the wrong side of the ball, sometimes you're on the right side. But as we've all, it's a life-giving memory for me. I was so happy to win that because I love the place so much. I really do. I mean, it's a gorgeous place, and it has his. As I said earlier, it's his style and his taste and his dignity all over the place. And it will always, as long as that place is in existence, people will remember Bobby Jones.
He'd be pretty proud of the way that you've represented everything that he stood for.
Well, thanks.
We're going to take another call. We've got Johnny from Texas. Hello, Johnny.
Good evening, Ben. How you doing?
Hi, Johnny.
I go to Houston every year to watch you play, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I got a couple of questions for you. How do you think Bobby Jones would fare against today's players? And also, with your long putting stroke, how do you have a problem not decelerating on shorter putts?
Good. Those are two. I really like those two questions. First of all, a man that great would find a way to elevate himself with the competition, regardless of what implements or balls he's playing with. The question will always be propounded in different eras. I'll say this, that old and young Tom Morris would be champions today somehow. I certainly think Harry Vardon and James Braid would be. I think that Gene Saracen would be. Anybody that you want that has really accomplished and beaten the competition that many times would figure out a way to do it. I've always maintained that. So I do believe that there was a great intellectual part of Ben Hogan and Bobby Jones and players, the great players. Jack Nicklaus, you put him in any era, no question, he's going to beat the competition. I think they were that great. The other question was,
how do you not decelerate given your flowing long stroke on short ones?
Well, I think that it is the thing is that you must go through. You must go through in any golf shot, whether it's a 1 foot putt, or whether it's a bunker shot or whatever. I simply like the action of a sweep. It's a stroke to me that it works for me. It's a long. Since I build my putting around pace, I'm more apt to have a long sweeping stroke. It's natural for me. I still think that it's the idea of a swing. Although, in putting, you really have to try to get comfortable over the ball. You have to be yourself. It's very difficult to try to look like someone else when you putt. I've been as guilty as anyone trying to swing like Byron Nelson or Ben Hogan or Bobby Jones, and you simply can't do that, and I think it works the same in putting. I think when your nerves are quiet, when you have a good imagination of trying to figure out what the ball's going to do and how hard you're going to hit it, and I still think that the pace of a ball is 70 or 80% of a putt, of any putt outside of 4 or 5 feet. Because then, if you know how hard to hit it, then you can pick a line. You always find the good putters that leave their ball around the hole. Good putters are not going to run the ball by the hole 4 or 5 feet or leave it underneath the hole on the wrong side. I try to take the most break that I can possibly see and try to hit that break and try to arrive at the hole very softly.
Much like Jones did. Tried to die his ball at the edge of the cup.
That's right. Bobby Locke was a great dive putter too. He was a brilliant putter.
Hooked his putts.
He did. He stood closed and he took that swing and whoosh, in this way. It was beautiful to watch.
Snead said a couple of weeks
Only
ago
seen films.
that he couldn't watch Locke putt because it made him crazy.
Oh my goodness. Sam went over there and played lots of exhibition matches in South Africa.
Lost almost all of
nappy
them.
Bermuda greens, and I mean, Bobby Locke, he'd roll the ball in the hole all the time, and he just.
Nelson was supposed to go. Snead went instead, lost 14 of 16 matches, and Nelson thanked him when he got back for going instead of him. And we got our next call. We've got Randy from New York. Hello, Randy.
Hi. For those of us who have a golf ball for a brain, the Golf Channel is really great. Ben, I wanted to say thanks for the autographed picture that you sent me a couple of years ago after you won the Western Open. It was greatly appreciated. I've always been a fan of yours, and I was wondering, although I hope you win a lot more majors, if you had one more major that you could win, what would that major be? Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, Randy. It's a tough question. A very tough question. I don't know.
What about St. Andrews this year?
St. Andrews, I tell you, I never was so disappointed in the last Open Championship that we played there. I played as well as tee to green as just about any major championship I've ever played, and I couldn't putt at all. The greens were absolutely perfect. I regarded that was a pretty good chance. I mean, if I'd have had any kind of short game, but it wasn't to be. But certainly, in 1978 when I played St. Andrews for the first time in 1978, and was just amazed by the golf course and the town and everything else. But obviously, for anyone to win a championship at St. Andrews would be remarkable and meaningful, because that is the place that really is the. I think Peter Thompson said it best. Peter Thompson, he won the British Open 5 times,
right.
And
including
said
St. Andrews.
any golf course that has been built since St. Andrews really has some resemblance of St. Andrews in it, and he said after all that was the original, and it retains some part of it. I think that's great.
Jack said playing there was like going to architectural school.
Yes, that's right.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Ben Crenshaw, and we will be back with him for one more segment. If you'd like to speak with him, please call us at 1-800-842-9987.
Can't put a circle there. Deborah?
Susie Chaffee and Ben Crenshaw,
This
please.
is for $250. Can bleaching your hair lead to baldness? Bleaching your hair, could that lead to baldness?
No.
I know nothing about this subject again, but I think it could hurt your I was thinking it might hurt the.
If they have another question, I want pick of the litter.
What do you think? No?
No.
What?
Okay. Can bleaching your hair lead to baldness?
We have a mixed bag here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but we'll go.
I'll just look at you and say yes.
I'm a natural!
Yes or no?
Honest to God, I'm a natural. We say, okay, we're to say no.
No.
I agree.
No, it neither causes baldness nor prevents baldness.
Oh, well, you definitely
How
missed
about
your
that?
calling. You could have been a game show host.
How about that?
A couple of questions before Tom Watson joins us. What did it mean to you in 1991 to win the Bob Jones Award, given everything you feel about him, given your win there, given what he's meant to the game?
Oh boy, that's obviously for the USGA to give me that was unbelievable, I've never masked my affections for Bob Jones because I do think that he represents the best in our game. To be considered for it was wonderful to me, and I am so happy this year that Herb Wynn got that award.
Right.
If anybody's deserving, he has been forever. He's given me so much pleasure over the years knowing him and reading some of the greatest American prose that I've ever come across. It meant the world to me.
You miss when Wynn stopped writing for the New Yorker? I used to look forward to
Yes.
twice a year when he would pick a major and write about it.
Well,
Great stuff.
He knows the game thoroughly, and he has seen these things happen. He was there in 1930 when Jones won the Grand Slam. Yes, sir. Joe Dye was too. Lots of people, but he has seen players. He has thoroughly studied the game, he wouldn't mind me saying this, but he was Darwin's counterpart, in America. Darwin was brilliant writer, who wrote for Country Life and the Times, but those two had a great gift, and they had a great gift of depicting the game that they loved, and absolutely, I think everyone looked forward to his writings in the New Yorker.
I would add Jones to the list of those two guys as the three best golf writers in the history of our game.
You're right. Jones, still to me, is just beautiful. Just beautiful. I still think that so far as instruction goes, Bobby Jones on golf is still unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just pearl-like essays, one after another. Golf is my game is brilliant. Down the fairway is remarkable. At such an early
Autobiography
age.
at 25
Yeah,
is hard. We're
early
going
age.
to take a call. We've got so many people who want to talk to you. We've got Dave from Utah with us. Hello, Dave.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for taking my call. Utah could sure use a Ben Crenshaw designed golf course.
Thank you, Dave.
Utah is a golf crazy state. My question is, when you're putting, what is a swing thought or a swing trigger that you use each and every putt, or do you have one?
Thank you, Dave. I think that there are a few things that really don't change in putting. I think that number one, I think you have to get comfortable. You have to know what it is you're about to do, what you're attempting to do, how hard you're going to do it. You have to. I still think that each stroke is a swing of some sort, and it has to have a certain rhythm to it. And apart from the fact that you're trying to hit the ball solidly and go through, there's really not that much that can happen. You try to hit the best putt that you can. I still like the way Jackie Burke, who I just love, he's like an uncle to me. He's one of the greatest teachers, and he's a brilliant putter. But what he says really basically is that your job is to try to make your stroke over this ball. He said, don't worry about what happens up there towards that hole. He said, if you do a good job here before this ball, it might have a chance to go in. So your thoughts should be on stroking that ball, stroking it solidly, and staying down. However you can. Mike Hulbert has proved that you can grab a putter anyway. You know, we had a little fun with Mike the other day. He putts one-handed now.
Right. And well.
And rests his left hand on his thigh, on his other one. So we started asking well, how tight do you hold your left thigh? Do you get it when you get closer to the hole? Do you grab it tighter? So that just shows you anything will happen. Anything that we can do to hold putts, we'll do.
Well, you know, I saw Tom Watson taking notes as you mentioned that, who's going to join us in a couple of minutes. Ben's going to stay with us until the top of the hour. Tom Watson is going to join us in just a couple of moments. We'll kick around Bobby Jones and other questions that you might have. 1-800-842-9987. Tom Watson is a few short putts away from winning major championships in 3 different decades. I've got a hunch that the one that he'd like to win this year is the British Open. It's being held at St. Andrews. If he wins it, he would tie 2 records of Harry Vardon's. 1, he would win British Opens in 3 different decades, and 2, he would tie Vardon's record of 6 British Opens. When Tom Watson won the British Open and finished in the top 10 in the 3 other majors in 1975, he began a 9-year run that ranks with the best sustained streaks of brilliant golf in the history of the sport. During this prolonged demonstration of dominance, Watson won 8 majors, a total exceeded by only 5 players: Jones, Hagen, Nicklaus, Player, and Hogan. If Watson can solve his recent tendency to miss shortish crucial putts, he could add to that total. He used to be subject to spells of wildness, especially off the tee. But his swing is more reliable now, and his tee to green game better than ever. He has had a dazzling and improvisational short game ever since he was a boy, and on the greens outside of 10 feet, he's putting beautifully. Of all the players that challenged the supremacy of Nicklaus, no one did it more often or successfully than Tom Watson. Their breathtaking golf in the 1977 British Open, which Watson won, is considered in many quarters as the best championship golf ever produced by 2 players at the height of their powers.
Hi, Julie.
Thanks so much for being with us, Tom.
Nice to be here.
You know, we've been talking about Bob Jones tonight, and my Bob Jones question to you would be, what do you think Jones would have thought about what Greg Norman and Nick Price did in the Alfred Dunhill Challenge, conceding each other long putts on 16?
I know I wouldn't have done it.
How long was that putt?
9 and 20, both for pars. They were even, but they're playing for their country.
That's
pretty important stuff.
No, you gotta putt those putts.
That's pretty magnanimous there now.
I mean, I could see giving you the 9 or the 20-footer, but to give them to each other when their teammates are out on the course,
I don't know. Yeah,
doesn't seem totally within the spirit.
I wasn't there, so I don't know what they were feeling, but that sounds pretty long range to me.
You know,
those are good for him. You see.
Yeah.
No.
Those are good for him. Yeah, you expect him to make every 9-footer he looks at.
How do we get him to make all his 9-footers this year and everything shorter than that?
Oh.
I mean, you guys are the 2 best putters of your generation. Talk to this man.
This man, the only thing that I could possibly say, he when I watch him practice, he looks good. He looks good all the time when he practices, and I don't. He's always been so analytical with his game. He's been probably as analytical as anybody that's played. I mean, he's going to try to figure it out. That's why you majored in psychology out of Stanford, right?
No, I was just trying to get through school.
No. Well, anyway, I think Tom Watson needs to be himself when he putts. He needs to trust himself, because his stroke He knows his stroke better than anybody, and the only thing I would not like you to see you do something that doesn't happen naturally to you.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm trying.
I don't know.
I remember overheard you say that you have to be comfortable when you're putting. You have to be comfortable, and I've been in kind of an awkward position, just trying to make a mechanical stroke, and I think it's very important to be comfortable. Obviously in any shot, but especially putting. Putting's such an individual thing. How can you teach somebody how to putt? It's all in the fingers and all in the feel. That's right. I know I get real quick with it. I know I lift the putter up. I know I do all these crazy things, but those are nerves. I tell you, a lot of it is nerves.
Well, you should have seen some of my putts at Doral. They were going all over the place. They were
I was playing behind you. I saw a few go in.
They were beautiful greens, and I wasn't doing very well with it.
You were interviewed recently, and you said that, and I don't know if you were joking, in a couple of weeks you might see me go cross-handed. Serious or not?
Well, I've toyed with the idea, sure, but anything that's going to make it work and feel natural, that's what I'm going to try to do.
Did you see Faldo yesterday?
I didn't, no.
Well, his shot making down the stretch yesterday was absolutely unbelievable, and it reminded me of you in 1980 at Muirfield on the Saturday. I happened to follow you around that day when you shot your 64 with 1 bogey and 9 birdies. It was a wow, and there was a wind, and you're hitting lots of little half shots and 5 irons from 140.
There wasn't too many wind, not too mumuch wind that day. That was a windless day. Aoki shot 63 that day, and there were some real low scores at Muirfield that day because of lack of wind. But there was some wind the first day, and there was some wind the last day.
Now the next day, after you won the golf tournament, a couple of hours later, didn't you two school kids get kicked off the golf course for doing something?
Not me. I went into dinner. I left early.
Patty Hamner says otherwise.
He somehow escaped.
I was hungry.
As fate would have it, that's the way his week went. He played beautiful golf. He won the tournament, and he escaped the wrath of Patty Hamner.
Tell us a story.
Well, I had one of the nicest things that ever happened to me. A member gave me 4 clubs. And they were, some of them were old. They were talking a track iron and a baffing spoon, and we're talking. And he said, I don't have anyone to give these clubs to in my family. They're all gone, and they're going to end up in the garbage bin. He said, I want you to have them. I said, all right, that's fine. It was wonderful. Anyway, I had these clubs, and someone had given me a couple of gutty balls, too. So we thought it might be fun to, after Tom's win, and there was nobody out there. There was nobody in. The stands were empty, so
it stays light in Scotland until 11 o'clock.
Right.
I took these clubs. I went to my room, got these clubs, and got these balls, and so started hitting the ball around, and pretty soon, all the players who were staying in the hotel came out, and we started. We didn't have any. It was still about 10 o'clock, I guess, or 9:30 or something. Plenty of light, and so we started. We played this 2-hole match. Tom and I played up the 10th. And down the 18th, and he won that incidentally too.
Well, the gutty ball didn't make it though.
Oh, didn't?
No,
it fell apart.
No, it did.
He was such a powerful hitter.
Yeah, that's right.
He split it in half.
And anyway, we stayed around and we were hitting a couple of putts on the green, and all of a sudden, and Tom had just left. He had just left and gone back over the fence to the hotel. Gray Walls, and we were left, over about 8 of us putting around, and we heard this booming voice from behind one of these stands. What are you doing on my golf course? And it was Patty Hamner. God, I felt like a little first grader who had gotten caught. And we had a chat for about 15 minutes, very stern chat, I might add, and he had a drink with us later on.
So you're not persona non grata at Muirfield?
No, I still have to check. He said, you have to know, you have to check with me before you come to the course.
Unbelievable. We're going to take a short break. We will be back with Tom Watson and Ben Crenshaw. We're talking about Bobby Jones. We're talking about them. Call us, 1-800-842-9987.